Hello everyone, Revan619 here. I was looking to build a Heinrix using Sword of Faith, obviously focusing a lot on Ancient Forsword as well. But then I noticed that the actual talent for it only scales from your critical, your crit damage, and your on top of that, then your momentum on the second cast. So basically, to use Sword of Faith, you really need to heavily invest into direct damage and to your critical damage, which means that Sword of Faith doesn't really work on an Arc Militant. It's more of an assassin one. So I'll definitely put together an assassin build another time, but for now, looking at this, I was thinking that I could actually show off how to do something more with an Arc Militant version, and then I'll do an assassin version where it actually focuses on Sword of Faith, because the Arc Militant version actually does quite a lot from using the setup for how we've got it at the moment. So by using this as it is, we're going to do a lot of damage. So I'll quickly go into combat and I'll show you off some of the little things you can do with it. So yeah, let's jump into battle and we can show off a little bit here. But yeah, no, he does a lot of damage with this setup. It's very similar to my original Pyromancer build actually. Yeah, sorry, just read the Dark one. But yeah, so let's jump people out of the way here and we'll show off what this Heinrix build can do. One of the things that is quite useful as well is obviously the Bounty Hunter reset turns. It's very vital that we actually do that on when we use the version of it that's going to go with Assassin. So for now, yeah, let's just jump these guys out of the way. We've got cascading stuff here, so we're going to use our stand buffs. So we're going to pop all this on Heinrix. But yes, we've got quite a few nice little buffs here, and we're going to try and move some of these enemies together. Ugh, didn't do the best there. Oh, the stuff we got out here.
Isn't this a job for the serfs? If I may. Me? If you insist, Lord Captain. I'm not accustomed.
So we're gonna, I guess, hope that Idra doesn't explode and take out everyone. Because we do want her buffs here. So first of all, we're going to set some bounty hunter targets. And possibly you. Momentum, well, the Emperor is always going to be useful here. And because this lady has Corpus Conversion, so let's move her a little bit away from... Oh, let's bring it down. But yeah, because of the Warp Surge Brooch, we can really go ham with everything. Yeah, if we look at her psycho rating, it's 16 because of all those Corpus Conversions. That's probably going to get nerfed at some point. But anyway, so now we can go over to Heinrix himself. And a lovely little thing of him having All Out is we can do quite a bit with that. So yes, with her buffs, he's actually pretty good here. But one thing we can do is if we buff an ally, we can actually get our own stacks of Corpus Conversion.
I won't object to it.
And the reason for that is, so when we then buff ourselves up, by having our psi rating increased to 11 there, it's now 14, and then when we pop this on, it'll be even more. But we come up with a very nice psi rating of 18 there. And then what we can do is we can set up for this lovely little charge in here, and we're going to do quite a bit of damage.
Everyone, step aside.
Oh, he's immune to warp damage, is he? That's fine. We've also got our Psychic Force, so our normal says 1714, then 1824 there. Woof. That'd be a lot of damage.
Is on our side.
So yeah, that's at 702. Because we used the psychic power, obviously we lost some psi rating there. So our damage is going to drop a little bit, but nothing too extreme. we've also, so we've got the 1130 here, but we've also got the axe that can do quite a bit of damage in itself. And we can quickly then set up some more of these little interrupts.
Suits my purposes.
And we can also immediately prop over to a heroic action, which will be separate and create a separate turn. So we could either Daring Breach or Steady Superiority. So we'll use the Daring Breach and we'll keep all of our AP. So that's the wonderful little part of wonderful little part of having a bounty hunter there. So then we can set up some more of our nasty little debuffs. Again, we're just going to increase our psi rating.
Let's see to it.
Yep, we can use
I
that
won't
there.
object to it. Let's see to it.
But yes, so it zooms back to 14 there. And now our charge should do quite a bit of damage here.
Nothing stands against me.
So, oof. So after that, we're looking at about 2,000 there, or even more. But we keep the psi rating until we use the psychic power. Once we use the psychic power, we actually lose it. So as long as we just go with the normal melee hits here, we'll keep it. If we use psychic force, we'll actually lose a lot of these buffs.
Not a problem for me.
And yeah, armor pen's going to be pretty damn high. So obviously, because of endure stacking here, we've got a lot there. Our armor itself is very high because of obviously building up our stacks and our dodge. See, what I've not been doing here, which I should be doing, is swapping between my psychic powers and my melee hits to build up more versatility. Yeah, no, I should definitely be doing that. Because if we do that, we pop up our versatility here, which will then increase our damages as well.
All too easy. Suits my purposes.
So yeah, we can be doing that to actually make ourselves a little bit stronger. And obviously we can keep restacking all these damage buffs and stuff. I'm not going to go crazy and overdo it. But yeah, uses of Enfeeble and the more uses of Endure as well.
I'll put my psychic ability.
Also, because of the boots we're wearing, these kind of reset as well.
I won't object to it.
So yeah, we can keep going with all this lovely little stuff.
Will be swift.
And when we remove their armor, we do more damage to it as well. Like the second follow hits always do more because of how we've set up for some of this stuff.
For the throne's glory. I won't object to it. I'm done with this one.
But yeah, no, it's pretty high damage. But yeah, the main issue with this sort of setup is the fact that yeah, we can't really go into 4 swords because it just lowers our damage because it's only really scaling from the crit damage. But yeah, if I was building up versatility, you'd see my stuff would be doing way more than it is.
The Emperor is on our side.
But no, very high stats, very high dodge, very good armor as well because of dependable and veil of protection.
I won't be caught. Everyone, step aside.
And yeah, if you ever can't reach something, blast them with that. So on the other side of things, let's look at the assassin version. Now I'm going to have both these builds in the build document in the spreadsheet and linked below, so feel free to look at that for the Heinrix alternative stuff. But as you can see, I've swapped up some of the items here. I've got the Ancient Force Sword still, got some Bloody Pact options, so if you want to do that. The Assassin version is a bit messy and not optimized like the Arc Militant version is, but that's because I'm still testing what order you want to take everything on. But for now, it's just going to be just getting everything combat so I could show off the damage numbers. So we'll go into combat, we'll test that, we'll look at the numbers, and I'll show you what it's doing. Essentially, it's a Death Aura build, but it's a lot safer than the Mazrahai Death Aura build because you're not doing self-damage, so you don't run the risk of killing yourself if you don't have the right setups and the right buffs. So the way this is going to work, especially when we then use the Force Sword, is it procs Burning Blood, which then procs all your notes and weaknesses and stuff when you attack, and it creates a lot of damage that way. So the actual Force, so the actual Sword of Faith itself, it's probably only going to do 500-ish damage, But then with all the malign influence, all the notes of weakness, all the lethalities, the backdrafts, and all things like that, and pain channeling, you're probably going to start getting up to around 2,000 damage.
I am a navigator.
So we'll go through the usual buff routine here to put everything on him, and then I'll show you sort of the kind of damages you're looking at to do here. If anyone else actually has any other ideas for how to better optimize this, then please do look at the spreadsheet and then comment below. I'm not, because obviously what I know is just what I know. I'm sure there's other ways to do this and make it better. And like I said, one of the reasons that you can trust what I do is I show you the buff routes I use. Because yeah, when people don't show that, you never know what sneaky stuff they're up to, and it's like they're not showing off what their combat strategy is here. So of course we're using Idra with Spirit Drape so she can buff up the stats, because why not see the maximum version? Obviously we're only going to do one loop of this, we're not going to set multiple loops. Yeah, that corpus conversion bug, huh? So, yeah, all the standard stuff, pre-science, iron arm, warp speed, word of the emperor, yada 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 yada. The more words of the emperor you get, the more this will do. So yes, I understand that later turns you could do more. As you pick up more stuff and you recast, you can increase the damage. But, yeah, it's not fair trying to take this into like round 4 or 5 to show off what it can do when you don't normally do that with another build. So we are going to use Bounty Hunter interrupts to be able to get extra casts, because every time you cast Blade of Light it increases damage. It's unfortunately one of those things, it needs multiple casts to be useful here. So yeah, we're going to ignite, we're going to orchestrate flames. As you can see, when we cast our spells here, Burning Blood procs off and starts building up lethality. Then we can also use Slash, which was from Breakthrough. Sorry, my brain went pause for a second there. This is to build up lethality. It's also to get some of our other stuff up. So when we then use the Blade of Light, you can sort of see what it's doing. Well, sorry, Sword of Faith. So yeah, we got 32 resolve at the moment. So it's not like as high as it could be, but it's still going to be pretty high. Even cast it though did about 500 damage. So we'll pop Hammer of the Emperor on, and then we'll give him a smack with it. Hammer is actually hitting those openings. So yeah, so the actual hit itself wasn't the highest, but we get a lot of damage procs from everything else we're doing. And then you've even got stuff like Firestorm, which can really benefit from all of this. I went into Telepath right late to get some pain channeling on that. So by resetting it here, we can use Sword of Faith again, so we can actually up our damage a little bit, because it adds, yeah, add some of that to it. Because at first it's just crit damage, then you can start getting in your resolve, etc, etc. So we will cast it again, so now we should be looking to see the actual damage. And because this build is on, yeah, it's on my Icon class one, so we don't lose as much momentum when we recast it. And because I've got Void boots on it, we can actually generate more attacks of that through this. So even when you use like a ranged attack like that, you do still do quite a bit. We're going to have to use the heroic action here to actually get some movement. Yep, nice and buffed up. As we move near people, we're actually going to start doing some big damages here. We'll get some corpus conversion. So when we actually attack, we use our psi rating, and our psi rating goes down. But when we just use slash, we obviously don't use that. But slash doesn't do the most. However, when we got aim for the opening up, so it will then proc all of our extra ways to get lethality when we actually cast a spell. The same as if we did it like with Orchestrate Flame. So if we pop that on, and then you hit it, so then it pops up everything, and it will pop all the notes and lethality, so, and all the wisdom checks that it causes them to make, and then malign influences, and that will use the base lethality, it will use deadly calculations, and it'll proc it a few times. The other problem with Sword of Faith is, even though it then becomes a psycho ability cast, so we get to proc all the willpower saves to use Malign Influence and Burning Blood, which will then double proc our Malign Influences, we do lose the ability to generate charges. I don't think it counts as a melee, but I do have one left over anyway. But every time we get the opportunity to cast Sword of Faith again, it will increase our damage. So it will build up a bit. So we're doing about 550, but with everything around it, we're probably getting closer to about 2,000. And those slashes will generate more MP, so we can use that even though it won't do the most damage. And it's very heavily reliant on having the warrior abilities. But as you can see here, like, the damage isn't too bad, and there's lots of sources of it that are proccing it. Yeah, it's about 2,000 there. But the actual damage itself from Sword of Faith, it's not that inspiring. It's very similar to the Death Aura build, just different. But there are ways that we could proc more of this. There's obviously the High Spinners. I don't think it's High Spinners, but it's one of the armors that you get from Kabila's questline that procs willpower when you're near them. So you could get 3 different procs. So you have Line Influence, using the Psycho abilities, and then that. And then it's obviously Fiend of Virbo 6, so when we go near it, procs it. So you do build up a lot of lethality, and it will make like your Firestorms and your other things do a lot of damage. But it's just, Sword of Faith's just not impressive, man. But that's all I want to show for today. Over and out.